First and Now is the official podcast of the BC Lions. Nick Kowalski and yours truly, Matt Baker, bringing you all of the latest in Lions land. And Nick, it's coming. We're days inside of a couple of weeks away officially here from the free agency period. We have the negotiating window coming up here at the end of this week. Sunday, I think, officially. It's on, man.
Yeah, and some exciting news over the past couple of weeks. The re-signings, the extensions are rolling in, and it is a good time to be a Lions fan because we have some big news.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen this way right when we're about to start recording. Well, we kind of had an inkling over the last 24 hours or so as we record this late on Tuesday. But yes, Nathan Rourke, not really a big surprise, but the timing maybe kind of tells you the commitment on both sides, right? Nathan Rourke, as announced, will be here through 2028, was heading into the final year of his deal signed in August of 2024 when he came back to the team kind of out of the blue. But so yeah, not a pending free agent, but don't have to worry about that anytime soon. And, you started to hear some questions. Oh, will he try the NFL again? I know he's been asked about it in a couple of his recent interviews. And his commitment to the Lions has remained evident. And it is now, as Kid Canada is going to be here for at least 3 more years.
Yeah, and I mean, the face of the franchise, I'd even go more so to the face of the CFL at this point, obviously earning that right after winning the MOP and MOC this past season. And to be frank, he is the best player in the CFL right now. And to have him extended through 2028, especially as the quarterback too, the most important position in football, local boy, you see how much the Canadian game, the province of BC means to Nathan. It's huge news, right? And you think that, it's almost a tip of the iceberg with this Buck Pearson, Nathan Rourke duo. And we saw the most productive offense of all time last season. And it's scary to think in a good way, where this team can go. And Nathan, like you said, he's committed here. He's pretty much in the facility every single day in the offseason. It's December, January, you'll see Nathan training outside, getting Keon Hatcher and Justin McInnes with them, a bunch of other guys, Kieran Poisson, Couture, all the local guys are here, and Nathan spearheading that, right? So the commitment he has to this organization, it's on full display with his actions, but also now with the pen to the paper. Yeah,
the Buck Pierce angle to this has been the key. Watching those guys, it's going to sound cliche, but they're the first ones in here, the last to go home at night. Two true football nerds at their core, right? And head coach, quarterback combo is probably the most important element you can have in professional football. And you know what else? As I was preparing up this announcement, coming up with all his latest nuggets and everything, and I'm kind of sort of write these in my sleep now.
Yeah.
But one thing that stood out to me, for as long as we've known the player and the person, only 36 starts under his belt, 23-13 record as a starter. Of course, he pretty much had a redshirt backup year under Michael Riley in 2021, got in a couple of starts that year. Then, of course, the small 2022 sample size, 10 starts, 8-2 record. Still was on pace for well over 6,000 passing yards, won his first most outstanding Canadian Player Award. But really only 2 seasons worth of starts, even though he's been a BC Lion property since 2020 when he was drafted. Of course, missed a CFL year that year due to the pandemic, and of course pretty much spent a year and a couple of months down south. So dare we say it, that the best is yet to come with this player?
Well, he's right in the prime of his career, you would think, right?
28 years old.
He's going to be turning 28 this season. And you see the physical abilities he has, right? So you think about what comes to mind for me. Obviously, we all see the touchdown passes and the crazy highlights, but his ability to maneuver the pocket, you see how hard it is for defenders to bring him down, whether he's in the pocket or outside the pocket, because he's not only strong, but he has speed too, right? And the abilities that he has, they're pretty tailor-made to the Canadian game. Nathan's fully admitted that too, that this game is what suits him best. And yeah, you think about, the potential here and, being a Lions fan, being able to watch Nathan operate in the dome, it's exciting, right? Because the sky really feels like the limit, and this organization's in a good spot, and it's good because, it has been a while since this organization has won a Grey Cup, and now with Nathan Rourke and Buck Pierce locked in long term, like that's where you build from, and it's only going to go up from here.
Yeah, and around midway through the season, in fact, it was when we were going into Calgary for his first head-to-head matchup with VA. I did a bit of a deeper dive on just how far he's climbing up the record books, and Nick, he's over 11,174, I believe, his career passing yards. With one decent game, he's going to pass Joe Pow into 7th. He passed his head coach, Buck Pierce. He passed his former teammate and friend, VA, Dave Dickinson, and Casey Printers. He leapfrogged all those guys, and he's closing in on 7th here on the Lions' all-time list. So you start doing the math. Damon Allen sits at the top of the BC Lions list, 27,621 yards. Essentially 2 seasons worth of starts, he's at over 11,000. Another 4 years or so, he keeps up this pace, he's going to be pretty much at the top.
Yeah, and I think you can. It might be tough to even ascend toward the top of the entire CFL. There's obviously Damon Allen, Anthony Calvillo have some crazy records. For context, Damon Allen had 11,920 rushing yards as a quarterback, which is pretty insane. Nathan's just at 1,100 in his career, so that one might be a little far out of grasp for the career totals. But yeah, you think? I mean, the single season stuff is really intriguing to me too. I think it sounds like a broken record, but the last couple of years we've been talking about whether it's Vernon Adams Jr. or Nathan Rourke being on a 6,000 yard pace, and can they hit that Doug Flutie number? And ultimately, I think the most important part of hitting a single season record is playing the full 18 games. So that's where health comes into factor. But I mean, I think Nathan has the potential to kind of he's rewriting the Canadian record books in the CFL. But I think there's going to be a lot more records period that Nathan's going to be gunning for these next couple of years.
Exciting times, and at least 3 more solid years, and we can safely say firmly in this Grey Cup window here with this player, with this head coach, with the amount of talent being surrounded by him. And Nathan slated to meet with the media a bit later on Wednesday morning, so please be tuned into our YouTube, bclions.com, for all the reaction. Exciting times, and all the more reason to continue to get excited about year 72 for the BC Lions.
One question I'm going to present to you.
Yeah.
He's still Kid Canada? Can we still go with that nickname, or how much longer can we call him the Kid?
Was it us that... It wasn't us that started that.
I want to say it was somebody at TSN.
Someone online.
I think of Glenn Suter when I first heard Kid
Suter or
Canada.
Marshall, one of those guys,
Yep.
or was it... Yeah.
But can we still roll with that? I'm saying
Sure.
yes. He's still a kid, right?
When did people start calling Sidney Crosby... Stop calling Sidney Crosby Sid the Kid? It was probably after about 10 years of it.
Okay.
Give him till he's 30 years old. How's that?
Okay, that's the cutoff?
Yeah.
Okay, you heard it here first.
It's the same thing. Sid the Kid. It was, and he's approaching 40 years old now. You just saw him the other day, I think, Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, I heard he was at Dovetail on the weekend, too. Knows his Vancouver restaurants.
I saw a picture. Was that the picture I saw of him posted? Was that the place, Dovetail?
Dovetail in Yaletown, yeah. But he was also hiking with Arthur Sealoves. I saw that too, right? So.
Then you saw Ovechkin last week at Park Casino.
Yeah, night. That's a tame night for him.
Yeah.
So we hear.
He's probably settled down a little bit since his prime. But yeah, anyway, moral of the story, we're talking about these athletes performing at high levels in their late 30s, so we have several more years of Kid Canada, as you say. We have a jam-packed show today. We're going to hear from a few other key Lions who have re-signed. We're going to do kind of a back-to-back-to-back here in just a few minutes. We'll hear from Adam Konar, veteran back as a linebacker and a special teams contributor. We'll hear from Chris Schleuger. Still a couple of questions about this Lions offensive line. So Slug could be getting another long look, perhaps at right tackle, right guard, wherever they want to slot him in, we shall see. And we'll hear from Jonah Tavai, a defensive lineman who made a big jump in year 2. His brother, Jelani, is Super Bowl bound. We'll talk a bit of Patriots-Seahawks before we're out of here. But while we have a few minutes before we start our interview portion of the podcast, a few other key guys sticking around, like we said, since we last spoke 2 weeks ago. Speaking of the offensive line, Corey Woodruff a 2-year deal. And that's another guy who made big strides in his second season. I love the guys who come in year 2 who are looking to increase their role. And Corey even got a couple of starts at left tackle. He can play left guard pretty well, of course, for a much improved offensive line. That's a key piece up front.
Yeah, he's versatile, but he really kind of found his calling at that left guard position last year. And I remember talking to him for Arrow Up in training camp last year. He admitted that, I was going into camp last season expecting that the left guard job is mine and no one's going to take it. And obviously Corey goes on to win that position and then start the whole season pretty much. But he, like you said, he can also bump out to left tackle. He played 118 snaps there last season in 2025. And, with Jarrell Broxton still an unsigned free agent, I'm assuming you'd prefer Corey Woodruff to be an interior guard, but the options are aplenty, right, with Corey back. And he's the biggest guy on the team, too, and he definitely looks the part. 340 pounds, a great presence up in the middle of that offensive line, and hopefully, a good protector for Nathan for years to come.
Yeah, all these offensive stats we're throwing out, you don't accomplish that without your competent play up front. And looking forward to seeing what year 3 and beyond brings for the Pittsburgh State product that is Corey Woodruff. We've talked a little bit about linebackers. Ben Hladek, kind of the domino effect here, of course. Darnell Sankey comes in, a big signing. You figure he's going to take Micah Alway's spot in the middle, and results in Micah Alway being granted an early release as opposed to him sliding over and playing Will. But Ben Hladek could have an inside track, depending on how the ratio plays out. A 5-year BC Lion, former UBC Thunderbird. That's a guy who's played well as a starter and in a reserve role. The first Canadian Lion to get 100 defensive tackles in a season. That took place, I believe, in 2023. And is he your favorite maybe on day 1 when the vets report to be playing at will? We shall see. Isaiah Messam, another one re-signing. A good veteran special teams player is Mess.
Yeah, as far as Hladek goes, I think you're hoping that if you can get that 2023 production out of him that you mentioned, the first Canadian line to hit 100 defensive tackles in a season, that would be huge, right? And I think as you mentioned right now, as of January 27th, Ben Hladek probably is your favorite to, land that will linebacker spot starting position. But a lot can change, obviously, from now until then. There's a full training camp to go through, too. And then on the flip side, too, having Messam back, he's one of the longest tenured Lions. Been very good on teams over the past 7 seasons here, 54 tackles in his career with the team, which is some pretty good production, right? And an injury shortened his 2025 season, but, coming in healthy, coming in as a veteran, well-liked in the room, too, gets along with everybody. Very, very easy guy to get along with. So it's good to have him back. And we're going to do... I have this on our little notes docket here, but we're going to do a little spontaneous trivia because I mentioned he is one of the longest tenured BC Lions. He is not the longest tenured BC Lions. So you got some guesses from me right now? Who's the longest tenured? And I'll
has to be someone currently. Well, everyone's still under contract.
Technically, yes, but I did not include the pending free agents, for example.
So got to be Gary Peters.
Gary Peters is first at February 13th.
He was a free agent signing
2018, yeah. Messam is May 3rd, 2018. He's number 2. Do you have a guess for the going from after?
Number 3's got to be Andrew Pearson. Because I think if Andrew Pearson was not a draft pick, he was undrafted and he signed a free agent deal like on the eve of camp that year.
May 9th, 2018 for Pearson.
Yep.
So he's one of the guys on that list. Obviously, he's still a pending free agent, so still work to sign Pearson, but he would be next.
TJ Lee obviously doesn't count because he was re-signed halfway through last year. He would have been the first. He was here in 2014.
I'm going by the book. So like Nathan Rourke and Matthew Betts and James Butler do not qualify because they obviously... Well, James Butler obviously went to Hamilton, but Nathan was not under contract. Yeah, we just had his rights.
So we're still guessing these?
Yeah, you want to go? How far do you want to go?
Oh, boy. Okay, well...
You got a receiver next.
A receiver.
2018 for this guy, actually. So he's one of the 4 players.
Javon Catoy.
December 12th, 2018. And then it skips to 2021 for the next
Because I was going to say that big wave of 2019 signings are all gone, right? Riley, Suk, Chung.
Everybody.
Deron Carter didn't last much longer after that year. So we're going into 2021 now?
Yeah, it's a duo of 2 guys. Draft picks.
Ben Hladek.
Yep.
And...
Offensive line.
Oh, man.
Kind of forgotten man. He's had some starts.
2021 Lions draft pick?
Signed on 2021. I'm pretty sure he was drafted. Yes, he was drafted, yep.
Oh, boy.
He's really good at video games.
Tyler Packer.
Tyler Packer, yeah. Would be next. And you know who's next is Keon Hatcher Sr.
2021.
Yeah, August 5th. So he's the seventh longest tenured BC Lion. Or sorry, Broxton would be ahead of him. I just don't have Broxton on this list because he's a pending free agent.
If you're going by exact dates guys signed, you forget who was first, Broxton or Hatcher.
Broxton would be ahead of Hatcher, but for these purposes, I don't want Broxton on the list. He's got to come back, right? And then on this list too, Sione Tuihema has been here since 2021, December. Sean White is in the top 10 now. February 2022 free agency.
Justin McInnes has to be 2023, right?
McInnes is 2023. There's a couple more 2022 guys. Thibaut Debaye, Nathan Cherry, and Riley Pickett. So there's some more continuity. Really good draft year for the Lions that year, right? So obviously guys like Adrian Green, Ryder Varga came in that year too. Not with the team anymore, but hit on a lot of CFL caliber players. And then you got guys like Marcus Moore has been here since September 2022. Michael Couture, and then Justin McInnes, Chris Schleuger, that whole the 2023 class comes in. But you're starting to build some continuity, right? And
big time.
Hatcher is one that kind of stands out to me, being here, top 10 guy now.
Yeah, he's a 5-year guy.
He's kind of we've seen him take over the leader, the vocal leader aspect role of the receiver room, even the offense overall too, alongside Nathan. So it's it's good to have some continuity, and obviously building with Nate from the get go, but. It's nice. Gary Peters, 2018.
Yeah, and then back for another one. Yeah, that was one of Ed Hervey's early signings when he took over. You had Gary Peters, you had Joel Figueroa, and then I mentioned all those guys in 2019. So we shall see again inside of a couple of weeks now when the market will open. Who will the Lions retain? Who will they add? Some key one, really 3 key ones we can say to get done. Jarrell Broxton, talked about that, left tackle. Aiden Eberhardt, is there room to fit in here to this puzzle with these big receivers the Lions have? And of course, what happens at running back? James Butler. Lions at least have a couple of hedges in place. We've signed this week Tony Jones Jr., another NFL veteran with the New Orleans Saints, Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks. Of course, we talked about Peyton Barber, the longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneer signing before Christmas. An incumbent in Xander Horvath. Is that a guy that gets a longer look this year? But again, still some time to get JB done. We all know how entrenched he is here in the market, in the community. We shall see if that also means putting pen to paper on a new contract. So a few dominoes still to fall here.
Yeah, and free agency, the negotiation window opens up next week, right, too, and looking ahead to this Lions roster, going through the quarterback spot specifically. Obviously, you got Nathan Rourke locked up long term, but he is the only quarterback signed to this roster right now, right? And there's a just for some context, there is a quarterback market out there. All 9 teams pretty much have their starters locked up, I would say.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say that. But there's guys like McLeod Bethel-Thompson, Shea Patterson, Chris Strevler, Taylor Powell, Jake Mayer are pending free agents too. So it's going to be an interesting backup quarterback market. Dustin Crum's another name from Ottawa. We obviously know him quite well with the Crumbacks experience. So the backup quarterback position, I think, is one to look out for, because obviously it's literally required to dress several. So some are going to have to be signed, whether it's first-year Americans, Canadians, or guys that are have CFL experience, because there's a market out there.
Yeah, and the 2 and 3 on the Lions depth chart, Chase Bryce and Jeremiah Masoli, of course, both pending free agents. So yeah, maybe that's kind of the interesting hook this year, for lack of a better term, the backup quarterback market. Where does that all shake out? BC Lions most likely going to be in the market for at least one, but we shall see. All right, before we get to Adam Konar, Chris Schleuger, and Jonah Tavai, a little trifecta of Lion interviews coming your way. Was that our trivia, or do you have a real trivia?
That was a trivia. That was I want to go a little spontaneous.
That's fine. We'll wrap things up with Go For It or Punt, as we always do. Before we get to Adam Konar, Lions fans, we may not be back inside Save On Foods Field at BC Place until Week 8, but when we are there, a couple of exciting new ticketing options to think about here. Like our brand new Terrace Club, the exclusive club offers exceptional views and an amazing buffet-style dining experience in a lounge seating environment. That's the style of which we're accustomed to. Terrace Club memberships are available on a season-long basis. For more information, visit bclions.com/Terrace Club. That's Terrace, Terrace, not Jamie Terrace, for those who might be wondering. Adam Konar is next on First and Now. All right, off we go to beautiful downtown Calgary. We find BC Lions linebacker Adam Konar in his off-season home. Adam, how are you, sir?
Yeah, doing good. Just enjoying the off season, enjoying the sun outside. As you can see, it's a nice Calgary day outside right now, so everything's going good. How are you guys?
Awesome. Yeah. Let's go. We're talking on this episode about how it's creeping up here. We're just days away from free agency. Then it'll be about the draft and training camp just around the corner. Speaking of sun, Kamloops is calling. But you signed your contract just before the holiday break. Just how excited are you? And was it a no-brainer to stick around here, Adam?
Yeah, super excited to be back. I mean, honestly, at this point in my career, BC is the only place that I want to be for numerous reasons. And so I'm super excited to be back. You know, I feel like we have a Grey Cup roster. I feel like we have the right people in the building all over the place. And so I'm super excited for the season. I feel like we have a really good setup going into this year.
Darnell Sankey was a big addition. Speaking of the linebacker room, Ben has re-signed. Unfortunately, Micah was given his release. But overall, how do you see the linebackers going into camp?
Yeah, like you said, Darnell Sankey is a big signing. I mean, he's a really one of the best linebackers in the league, you know. So when you get a chance to bring a guy like that in, it obviously helps. And I mean, in my opinion, Ben is one of the top linebackers in the league as well. So I feel like we have a super strong linebacker room once again going into this season. And I mean, obviously, you know, with football, there's always going to be movement on and off the roster and the off seasons. That's the reality of the business. So it's unfortunate to see a player like Micah go, but you know, he'll land on his feet somewhere else and be fine. But as far as what we have in the linebacker room, I feel super, super confident with it. And I'm a little biased being a linebacker, but I feel like the linebacker room is kind of the identity of the defense, you know. So when you can build a strong linebacker room, I feel like that you can build around that with D-line and DBs, but the core of the defense starts with the linebackers. So like I said, I feel really good about where the linebackers are right now and going into training camp. Yeah.
Very well said. Hey, Adam, you had a stint prior with the BC Lions prior to your current one right now. What are like a thing or two that you noticed in your past season here that maybe was improved on or different that, made you want to stay for another year with this regime?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. I mean, honestly, when I had left after the 2021 season, I knew that the roster that was in BC was going to be a good roster going forward. You know, like I had that feeling. I left because of the opportunity to start on defense. You know, that was really the only reason I left. But as far as what the team had, I knew that they were going to do really well for the foreseeable future. And like we've seen in the CFL over time, it's a lot of the teams that go to the Grey Cup every year or win the Grey Cup. You know, you look at Winnipeg as an example. They've been able to keep keep their core of guys that they have over the years, and keep the coaching staff in place as well for the most part. And I feel like that consistency over time is really the key. And I feel like the Lions have been able to do that, maintain a good core of their roster. And because like coming back last year to the team, it felt like I was coming back home because I knew half the guys on the team already. It felt like supernatural for me to come back. And I feel like that's a big thing, is just having that roster consistency, and that consistency being filled with good guys, good players, obviously, but people that just want to come in and win. And I feel like we have a team of guys that all are kind of on the same page. We want to win now,
If you watch our entrance videos, our entrance photos, it was always you and Jackson Finley together last season. So I want to ask you about Jackson, because you guys would carpool, right? Because you're North Vancouver residents. But I mean, right now we're seeing Jackson be like Mr. Perfect, right? He's a pediatric oncologist, stud rookie safety. And even it was funny too. We were talking with Rob Ralph, and he was saying he could not find a red flag on him during the drafting process. But do you have any dirt on Jackson? Like, does he listen to like his videos at like full blast in the car while you're driving? And give us something here.
No, honestly, I wish I did. He's a great representation of North Van boys. I'll tell you that. You can't get much better than that. I will say the one red flag is when he falls asleep when I'm driving in the car on the way home from practice, and I'm talking to myself, and then I look over and Jackson's snoring over in the passenger seat. That's about as big of a red flag as there is for Jackson. But I'm super excited about. Sorry,
I'm going to say nice co-pilot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice and quiet at least. But no, I'm super excited about watching Jackson this year. He's a guy with huge potential, and I'm excited about, watching him play and trying to help him out as much as I can, and just seeing him grow into the player that, we know that he can be.
Well, we've talked, before we let you go here, Adam, we've talked about this for a while now, about knocking on the door, how close the team got. Couldn't quite finish. How much does that fuel you going into this year, and what should be another big opportunity to get back to a Grey Cup and win one? Yeah,
definitely fuels you, when you feel like you were right there. I mean, it's easy to take some motivation from that, personally. And I know everybody on the team feels the same way. And honestly feel like a big driver of that is, when you see a guy like your natural leader on your team is your quarterback. And when you have a guy like Rourke that the whole team has faith in, that helps a lot, And so when you have a guy like that kind of leading the way for the team, it definitely drives the motivation, because you don't really know how big of a window you have to win a Grey Cup. You don't know if it 1 year, 2 years, however big that window is. So when you have that window like we're in right now, you do feel that extra motivation, like you kind of have to take advantage of that opportunity, And because, my rookie year, I was lucky. I got drafted to Edmonton, won the Grey Cup, and I thought I was going to win the Grey Cup every year after that. But the reality kind of set in quick after that. That's not the way it works, So 10 years later, I realized that, you really have to be fully bought in, and you have to take advantage of when you really feel like you have a chance to win the Grey Cup.
Very well said. Should fuel everybody going in to another year. Adam, this has been great to catch up. We wish you more sunshine and less snow in Calgary, as it's probably going to rain out here on the West Coast again later this week. But always appreciate it, my friend, and we'll see you in May, if not before.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks for having me. Good talking to you guys.
Take care, Adam.
That is Adam Konar, and we're back with another fun BC Lion in just a minute on First and Now. All right, we're back on First and Now. We're going to have one of our favorite guys join here in just a second. But before we do that, we're going to make him stand in the on-deck circle just for a minute. We've talked about some of the new exciting ticketing options coming this year, like our new Tunnel Club. This 15,000 square foot lounge, yes, gives fans a field-level experience you've never had before. And how great is this? Fans can be there for the player walkout. Who knows? You might even get to high-five our next guest, or Nick Kowalski if you're lucky. Midfield seats, exclusive private bathrooms. How good is that? Great food and beverage options. The Tunnel Club has it all. For more info how to get your spot, visit bclions.com/Tunnel Club. Chris Schleuger joins us now, BC Lions offensive lineman. How about that, Slug? New wrinkle for the season. You get to high-five fans when you're coming out the tunnel.
That's great. Instead of just looking out, getting ready, we'll be able to do a little fan engagement before we get to play in front. And no, I'm looking forward to that, and it'll be exciting to see all that happen.
Very well. How's life? How are things? How cold is it in Iowa? What's going on?
I mean, it's a little warmer today, so, I got the shorts on and just got a little windbreaker on going out there. But I mean, before a couple of days ago, it was like negative where you could boil water, throw it up, and obviously it just evaporates. So that just puts you inside. And I mean, I'm substitute teaching, trying to stay busy with that. Try to do all grades. I've been at the middle school primarily, where I've enjoyed teaching with all the teachers there. And obviously everyone's helpful there. It makes my job a lot easier just to come into the classroom. And if I have any questions, everyone helps me out, because obviously I'm not your day one teacher. I'm just kind of stepping in and giving the kids some guidance and just kind of helping the teachers out if they have to take a day off and whatnot. So, I really like that. And I've been doing that out here for probably 3 years or 3 or 4, but I think I've been substitute teaching for 5. So it's just a perfect off-season job for me. If I want to work, I can work. If I don't want to work, I can go train. And if I only take a half day, then I'll just train the rest of the half day.
Hey, what's the scouting report on Chris Schleuger, the teacher? Do you get feedback from the principal or whomever? What do the kids say about you as a sub teacher?
The principals usually like me, but the kids, they don't like me at first, because I'm kind of straight to the book. If we have a task to do, we're going to do that task. We're not going to be talking with Billy and Jimmy and goofing around. We're going to get through the task, and then we'll have fun at the end. But when I go into class, I usually tell them my name's Mr. Chris, but so then they look at me and they say, "Oh man, you look like an athlete." Oh no, I'm just your average substitute teacher that is just trying to make a living. And then if they know around, then they'll ask my last name. And then the next period, people come in, "Wait, you play football?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then of course the Googling starts going, and people start watching highlights, and they go, "Oh, I know who your mom and dad are." I'm like, well, it's public information. So it's fun. It's kind of good to be kind of a role model in that way, but I try to keep it business first and then party later. So
that's what class or subjects are you teaching?
I teach everything I can get my hands on. I'll teach math, science, social studies, history, music, Spanish, extra learning, English, art, shop.
Wow.
I've been from pre-K all the way to seniors. So I got this one job and they're like, "Hey, you want to sub?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll sub." And then I go in and I was like, "Okay, they're going to be preschool today." I'm like, "Okay." So when I'm reading the lesson plans, it's like, "Oh yeah, some of them might need their back rubbed before they take a nap." And I was like, "Oh man, I don't know if I could do this." And then, some of them need help going to the bathroom. So the pairs are very great out there, and they really just make the job easy when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm very thankful for the pairs and all the help with that. But yeah, just everything I could get my hands on pre-K to 12. So
yeah, I used to remember as kids being in elementary school, finding out you had a sub. That was cool. It was
bring up the TV usually. Yeah.
The TV on the cart.
You said Spanish?
Spanish. Yeah.
Can you give us a line of Spanish? Do you got anything or no?
I don't. It's so funny because when I was doing Spanish, they were playing this like little game or whatever, and they're like looking at the words. They're like, this isn't any of our words we're doing." And I'm like, "It's not." They're like, "No." So I'm like, "Oh shoot." So it's like, okay, this is Spanish too. So I'm like, oh man, I thought I was just doing Spanish the whole day, but obviously I got your hola, como te llamo, Chris, or not. Your name is Chris. Sorry, my bad. Me llamo Chris. Just your basic like that. That's all I got. So
I can't imagine the Spanish in Iowa is a very big thing.
I bet,
yeah. That's awesome. No, good on you. That's always love talking to guys about their off-season routine and their hobbies away from it. But we wanted to get a few football items in here while we have you, Slug. And you signed your new contract for the season, and we're glad that that's put to bed, and we know you're going to be here. But what went into staying on? How excited are you?
I'm very excited. Just seeing everybody that we have come back and people that are re-signing and like people that are adding to the team is just like, dang, we're really going to have a squad next year. Like we had a squad last year and it took us a little while to figure it out, but then we kind of got things rolling, kind of started coming together and whatnot. So it's just going to be exciting to get back with the boys and get that chemistry going early and just kind of learn from last year and just take the steps in the right direction this year.
Was that what brought you back, Chris? Just, the kind of the unfinished business and, building something with the same people, or is there more to it?
I would say building stuff with the people that were out there this year or last year, and then the coaching staff was a big tale too. Sharps is an awesome coach. Buck's a great head coach, and just everyone that goes into it that's new to the system is just like you're kind of getting to feel them out, and they kind of like interact with you, so you feel wanted and whatnot. So I like that, and I couldn't leave BC and then have you guys go on a run. So I was like, I'm going to stay here. And I'll be part of that run with you. So,
yeah, the FOMO would be real, right? Elaborating on that, we don't have to remind anyone how close this team got. How much does that fuel you going into this year?
We kind of, in a group text, we kind of talk about that, or someone will kind of throw that out like, hey, this is what we left. And it's like, dang, it's kind of heartbreaking to see that. And it's like, man, but I mean, that just kind of fuels it. Just we got to take the next step. So do whatever we can to finish what we did last year and just obviously, like I said, take the steps in the right direction and really get this thing going from week one. Week one we got to buy. So it's just going to be an extra training camp week. So, I'm sure everyone's pumped for that. So.
Yeah.
Hey, the last 3 seasons, you've played. I think you've started at left guard, right guard, and right tackle, right? But personally, like, what are your goals for you heading into this training camp? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
I'm really this year. I'm really trying to just like kind of lay the foundation and say like, all right, I'm here. I'm not going to be bumped around. I want to perfect this. But at the end of the day, if the team needs something, then the team comes first and you do what needs to be done. But my goal is to come in, kind of establish myself and just really work to just better myself every day and just compete with everybody every day and just keep that mentality of I'm not going to be beat and just kind of take everything that comes. So.
All right. Well, before we know it, we'll be in Kamloops. I'll be doing my laps in the morning and you'll be cutting me off and distracting me and telling me to go harder. I use you players as motivation, so.
Yeah. And when we see you out there, we're like, okay, Baker's out there getting it. Let's go, Baker. So,
and I'll tell you what, the Buck implementing the push-ups in practice. Yeah. So that I'm doing push-ups every day, man. So let's go.
I was just saying, I thought that shirt looked a little tighter for you.
Yeah, it is.
Nick's is looking a little looser. So we got to get him on whatever you're doing. So, hey, lead the horse to the water, man.
Yeah, starting to see veins again. That's a good thing. So
there we go.
Or I'm imagining things. Slug, bud, always appreciate it, and we'll talk to you in a matter of weeks and months.
Yes, appreciate you guys and everything you guys do. Thank you, and yes, looking forward to it. Try to sleep, but don't think about it too much. Live every day like it's your last,
I'm going to get that printed on a plaque for my office. That's some inspirational stuff right there.
With like a dramatic picture of Slug on the field. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking all serious. Yeah.
All right. Perhaps another special guest before we're done here coming up on First and Now. First and Now continues. Matt Baker alongside Nick Kowalski. We're talking about some key re-signings for the BC Lions, and this is another one we're very excited about. Jonah Tavai made big strides in year 2 on the Lions defensive line, and he joins us right now from his home in Southern California. So, Jonah, I'm watching the AFC Championship with my old man on Sunday, just chilling, and then, of course, the second half, the weather starts to turn. And then later on, I see an image of one Jonah Tavai. Of course, you're in the crowd, cheering on your brother Jelani, the Patriots defensive lineman, and you took your shirt off. How was that? Walk us through that experience.
Well, we had a fellow Patriot fan maybe 5 seats away from us wearing overalls, and he was actually taking his sweater off and his jackets off every time they were in the red zone. I told my brothers when we saw it and had a conversation with the man. I told them, next time they're in the red, shirt off. They never got to the red zone again. But the game-time field goal that was attempted by the Broncos that got blocked eventually by a D lineman, I said, now's the time, now or never. So I took it off. It got blocked. Still 10-7 with 4 or 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And it was off, and I was like, actually, this is pretty comfortable. So I took my brother's gloves, and I left my shirt off until I saw my brother after the game.
That's unreal. So for our listeners that don't know, explain why you were there and who you were cheering on.
I have a brother that plays for the Patriots, number 48. He's been there for a couple years. So me and some of my family decided to drive up a little 15-hour road trip. And it was well worth it. One, it was an amazing experience just to be in a crowd. And I've never actually stood in the snow for that long. But also just seeing him after the game and his face, just how happy he was to see us, the text messages, the calls that were going back and forth. Just being there for him meant everything, and it was well worth it.
Yeah, because you literally wear a Tavai Nation shirt, I think, to every single BC Lions game day. So family is obviously very important to you, but how cool is that? Because imagine there's a whole bunch of you guys out there, and probably going to be a whole bunch of you guys traveling up to San Francisco too, right?
Yeah, so there was 3 brothers and then 2 very close family friends that made the trip with us. He also had even more family out there. His lady was out there. And just all the support means a lot for him. The Tavai Nation shirt was definitely an easy call for me last year. I definitely wouldn't be where I was or am without the support that they've been continuously showering over me. So family here definitely means a lot.
Yeah, Jelani Tavai, year 5, I think, with the Patriots after starting out with Detroit, Super Bowl bound. So no doubt, again, it's proximity-wise, and it'll be a little bit warmer. You're going to make the drive up to Santa Clara. Do we have that right, Jonah?
I think we decided to drive.
Yeah.
See a little more scenic routes, stop in a couple places that I've never been. So definitely going to make a little trip out of it. But the end goal is just to be out there for him.
That's awesome. Good on you. And it's no doubt very exciting times for the family, not only because one of you is Super Bowl bound, but you signed your 2-year contract extension with the Lions around the holidays. What went into that, and how excited are you to be back here, Jonah?
I was telling them that I really wanted to stay in Vancouver and stay a BC Lion. They were just the ones that gave me the opportunity when it kind of looked like it was over. But being back and signing back to BC definitely gave me the happiest smile that I've had in a while. But I'm just excited to be back with the team, be back with the staff. Looking forward to this next run this year, just getting, in better shape, looking at what I can do. I've been watching film of my last games and just what I can do to get better for next year.
We got so close, of course. Don't have to remind you, 11 seconds away. Knocking on the door and coming back and trying to get to the top of the mountain this time. How much does that motivate you?
That game definitely will resonate a lot in my training. And I actually had the picture of it as my wallpaper for about a month and a half. Just to kick me up, get me started into all of my training and stuff. But going into next year, I can't really just keep looking back at that game. I want to build the team that we're going to be next year without having to look in the past. So, yes, it is a little motivating. I'm going to keep it more to the offseason than our in-season run this year, but it definitely still hurts.
Hey, Jonah, you're 2 years into your CFL career now. You were named a CFL PA All-Star, so recognized by your peers for your production last season. Are you feeling even more comfortable now heading into year 3, and are you even setting higher personal goals heading into this season?
So when I found out that I was the CFL PA All-Star, I was obviously ecstatic about it. But then I kind of thought about maybe I kind of wanted to beat Betts for Defensive Player of the Year. So for me, the goals are always high. I always set high goals. So this next year, obviously my number one goal is to win the Grey Cup with the team that we have and just enjoy that journey. All the accolades, they're great, and I will strive to be part of those accolades, but what really matters is our season towards the Grey Cup and winning that. Well
said. Hey, congrats on your brother. Congrats on your new deal. Congrats on surviving the blizzard. I look cold. Watching that on the couch, I know you could feel how cold it was. But kidding aside, hey, soak it all in. You never know when these opportunities come up. So soak in all the Super Bowl environment. I'm sure we'll see videos of you and Kowalski and Moj and all that. And we'll see you in Kamloops as well, my friend. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Enjoy, Jonah. Take care.
Back to wrap it up on First and Now. First and Now coming to a conclusion. A lot of topics broken down today. A good trifecta of interviews there. 3 well-spoken individuals. And yeah, for those watching on YouTube, you probably noticed Jonah Tavai had his New England Patriots sweater on, as he should. Should be an interesting Super Bowl, Nick. Seattle and New England, right when the matchup is determined, kind of the initial reaction I saw from people is that Seattle should be the heavy favorite. 4.5, I think, at last check. But the last couple of days, more and more people I've been seeing saying, don't count out the New England Patriots. And yeah, I think there might be something to that. I think I would lean towards Seattle, but I don't think it's going to be a slobber knocker some people may have thought at first.
Yeah, it's tough because I feel like a lot of these guys are going, like Drake May and Sam Darnold, obviously as the quarterbacks, they're going into their first Super Bowl, so it's tough to know how they're gonna perform on such a big stage. But I like the matchup overall, as obviously like you alluded to, and what we were talking about with Jonah. There's quite a BC Lions connection. The Tavai Nation is well and alive and represented not only in the BC Lions but now in the Super Bowl. Jelani, J.R. Tavai, also obviously a former BC Lion, former CFL
Correct.
player too. So quite the genetics in that family. Defensive havoc makers out there. Jonah definitely fits that bill, and it's awesome to see that Jonah got to make it out. Awesome story about seeing Jonah with his shirt off.
That was great. That's so him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just,
yeah, like you expect that, right? The one thing I did not expect to hear though from these 3 interviews, Chris Schleuger teaching a little Spanish.
Yeah,
teaching a little everything. I think he said shops, arts, social studies. So Good interviews. One note about the interviews too. Great to the reason we did these interviews was to get three guys and kind of get their headspace and opinions on why they came back, and they all seem pretty aligned in that there's some unfinished business, and this is the right group to finish that business.
Yeah, common theme, and they're gonna get asked about it first day of training camp, about how it ended and all of that, and I kind of like what Jonah said. He's like, he had the score of the game. He said he had it as his screensaver, but he's like, eventually you got to move past it. It's over. Nothing can be done, and it's all about how you recover from it. So we're gonna wrap it up with go for it or punt in a minute. But you Radio Row coverage next week, correct? San Francisco. That's the plan for you.
Yeah, that's the plan. Getting back out there for Super Bowl week. It should be a great matchup again, like we were talking about earlier. I loved. I actually recorded the games on Sunday and watched them without knowing.
You were at the Canuck game.
I successfully did not get spoiled, so I told the people I was with. But sometimes you're going to walk into a conversation, so I was expecting maybe for it to get spoiled, but turned the notifications off on my phone and watched. I love the Patriots game too. I love that. I love when there's a CFL snow game or a weather game. I love the elements of the outdoor games. I know we play in a dome, and it's definitely saved us more than a handful of times with the Vancouver weather. But seeing that New England Denver game, even though it was 10-7, I thought it was an awesome game just because of the elements, and you didn't know what was coming next. And then Seattle and LA lived up to the hype, right? That was maybe the best 3-game series, I think, from a NFL perspective that I can't remember in a while. I know there's been
3 games were combined 7 points.
And I saw the stat, they were talking about it during the game on Sunday, was that in their first 2 meetings, 1 point separated them and 1 yard separated them. So just like 2 even teams, just going shot for shot, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, all the emotion, right? But ultimately, congrats to the Seahawks. They got it done, and that defense is something else, right? The Rams got some shots on them, but when it pushed came to shove, I thought the Seahawks defense just lived up to the moment.
I like how Stafford wasn't afraid to test him out, like for the Rick Woolen unsportsmanlike taunting.
Play,
Say what you want about if that should be called in that moment, but the bottom line is the official was standing right there. He saw it, obviously heard something. Very next play, they attack downhill against Tariq Woolen, the Nakua touchdown. So that was just a heavyweight fight back and forth, and we hope we get a decent one in the Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. Both of these defenses, New England and Seattle, are forces to be reckoned with. And we shall see how it plays out.
Yeah, they've just drafted so well, the Seahawks too. Like that Nick Eman-Rory, I'm saying that name slowly because it's a tough name to get out, but a rookie nickelback on the Seahawks. He's a treat to watch. So look out for him on Super Bowl Sunday. But just so many good players across that roster. Cooper Kupp back in the Super Bowl. Really excited to see him back there. So.
Even their defensive veterans, talking about a guy like Leonard Williams, Ernest Jones was all over the place.
DeMarcus Lawrence is a beast, right? So
Byron Murphy, might not show up on the stat sheet a lot, but he causes havoc there in the middle. So
Jake Bobo, gotta shout out him too. I'm a big Jake Bobo guy.
But speaking of draft picks, Gray Zabel, how often do you see a rookie offensive lineman get slotted in like that? And that left side of that offensive line is what makes them cook, right? You see Kenneth Walker got off to a good start. So that's something New England is going to have to try to exploit. All right, Super Bowl 60 coming up on February the 8th. Go for it or punt time. We each have a few of these, which I like. So I'm going to run through mine very quickly here. Started watching The Pit on Crave. Not an easy watch. A little intense, a little graphic at times in the ER hospital type setting, but watched a couple of episodes and it's very good. It's funny, watching the NFL playoff games on CTV, you see the ads for it pretty much. So, I got to watch it. And my dad's like the other day, you got to watch it. It's unreal. So finally started. Speaking of the weekend, family dinner, some homemade meatballs. Shout out to my mom for the recipe. I got to get the recipe. Trying to get that recipe has been a little elusive, cracking that code. So haven't had meatballs in a while. Gotta love the homemade meatballs. Gonna start making my own, I think. And my last one, Super Bowl jerseys. Haven't seen the jersey matchup yet, right? I'm going to get to that in punt, but the patches. I love the Super Bowl logo patch. Got to do that for the Grey Cup, man.
Yeah.
I said it last year, too, on this segment. Come on.
Because they do the actual Grey Cup logos, and they always look really nice. There's looking ahead, there's going to be Touchdown Kelowna branding and logo. There was Touchdown Pacific back in the day, so I still have that Touchdown Pacific hat. And that's like an exclusive item now. It's gonna be worth millions in a little bit.
Put it in the museum, yeah.
But yeah, I'm well with you on that. It's cool, and it just adds to like the specialness of the occasion, right? So I'm with you.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you got?
I'm watching some TV too. You know, what do? We take some time off in the winter, right? It gets dark out early, so you kind of you're forced to stay in. And all the James Bond movies are on Crave right now.
Oh, awesome!
So I've been crushing through them. I'm through all the Sean Connery ones. Some funny fight scenes in those. You know, the acting in the '60s, but things
the dialogue.
Things have changed too. But yeah, it's I'm looking for. I have not watched the Daniel Craig James Bonds. Like ever.
Those are good.
So I will probably be getting there in like a good month or so.
What was your favorite Connery one?
Let's put me on the spot here. What's the second one? From Russia with Love.
I'm gonna go gold. I think I'll go Goldfinger.
Goldfinger's a good villain.
Yeah.
I like From Russia with Love.
I expect you to die. Yeah.
So I'm through all those right now. Just got through On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I think
George Lazenby.
Yeah,
right?
that one yesterday.
Yeah.
Pretty good plot. I see why he was a one-off for the James Bond role, but going through the James Bond ones.
The
right
Roger
now.
Moore ones are pretty good too.
Haven't watched those either, so I'm getting there. And then a little bonus one from me. It was a week ago now, but the goalie fight, NHL, Sergei Bobrovsky and Nedeljkovic for San Jose. That was electric. Those are always the best. Anything goalie related, a goalie goal, a goalie fight. I've been lucky enough to witness a goalie goal. The last goalie goal, Linus Ullmark,
against
the Vancouver Canucks, was there in attendance, but. Bobrovsky's got to get the helmet off though quicker. He almost, I don't like that where he kind of kept the helmet on when they started the brawl because he came in so hot and he ripped Nedeljkovic's helmet off. But I think it's got to be you can't be punching helmets, right?
No,
it's got to be a fair fight if you're gonna charge down from the end of the ice. But some good etiquette there. Both guys dropped them. Great brawl, and everyone goes home safe and they settled all the business on the ice. The police themselves.
There you go. You had another one here?
I think, I wrote down the NHL follow tracker, but I was talking to you about it before we started recording, so you haven't been aware of this. But for those who aren't aware, there's a Twitter account or an X account called NHL follow tracker, and it just shows every NHL team and player who they follow and unfollow. So it's led to some quite funny moments. Evander Kane followed a Texas home company, building company. So I don't know, maybe connect the dots.
So he's going to Dallas?
Connect the dots there. Trades have been broken in crazier ways. Remember, you used to always see guys in the airport back in the day or something like that for hirings or whatever, right? But the NHL follow tracker can be a useful tool. Instagram following in general, right? If you're public, so it's just funny. It's entertaining. It's kind of an
if you like gossip, if you like fodder, why not?
Bit of an invasion of privacy, but it's not because it's out there, right?
Public domain.
Exactly, but some people
and
are
Evander Kane clearly doesn't care what others think by now. So,
there's been some teams are actually having fun with it, like the Winnipeg Jets. I saw they followed a bunch of plane aviation accounts, so that popped up, and then the Bruins unfollowed every single NHL team and followed Adam Sandler, for example. This is back in December, so it's been going on for quite a while. But
I have to start paying.
It just pops up in my For You algorithm because they literally tweet out every single player, movement, whatever, for the Instagram wire. So it's a lot, but for the For You page, it works out.
All right, punt time, and started seeing this pretty much on Sunday night when the Seahawks won. And listen, I love the vintage jerseys too. The NFL, as you might expect, does those as good as any other league. But these people demanding that both teams wear their vintage jerseys in the Super Bowl, no, come on. Is it going to make the viewing experience less enjoyable? It's about these current teams right now, two young, great teams like we're talking about. I've seen rumblings that New England might choose their white roads. They're the home team as per the rotation. So if it's the Seahawks blue and the Patriots white, or vice versa, I think that pops pretty good. We don't need the vintages. Stop whining every time, people.
It's going to look like the Marshawn Lynch game if that's the case.
Is that a bad omen? I don't know.
To piggyback off though, I cannot stand in the NBA when they do like the alternate jerseys in like a Game 7 playoff game. Like, I think that's crazy. I love when the NHL you just declare what you're wearing and that's what you're wearing, right? So even the CFL, right? The Riders wore their throwbacks in the 2024 Western semifinal against us, the Obsidian jerseys. So
that's right.
It's happened in the CFL a bit, but there's one more thing I was going to add on this note about the Seahawks and Patriots. Yeah, whatever. It's not my punt, but I agree with that, right? It's not that big of a deal. Oh, I was going to say the Seahawks and Buccaneers game from this year. Do you remember that?
Brilliant.
That was that's a regular season game.
It's fine. That's a one-off.
Yeah. And I know NFL Films did a really cool like kind of montage where the Seahawks and Bucks played in like the 80s or the 70s, and they showed like similar shots from present day. And they like matched them together. It was really cool. NFL Films has been cooking though.
That's tailor made for
they're top tier, right? There was the Christian Gonzalez interception in the AFC Championship. They had like the ball track and right into Christian's hands and in the snow, slow motion. It was beautiful shot. The Keyshawn Booty play too, another one.
Last note here. When I saw that report that New England might go with white, and maybe they've announced it by now, who knows? It's neither here nor there. The Patriots, in all their Super Bowl appearances, the last time they went with their dark home blue was their second loss to the Giants. So every Super Bowl they played in kind of the quote-unquote second wave of their dynasty when they won 3 more and got back to another one.
White.
Came back against Atlanta. They're all in their white. They even chose white one of the years. I think when they lost to the Eagles, they chose white because they had recent success in the white. Superstition, I know, but we shall see. All right, what do you got?
Did you see the Free Solo climb over the weekend on Netflix?
I saw a reaction to the people watching it. I did not watch it myself.
I did not watch it because I'm punting that. I don't like the feeling I get when I watch those. I actually did check out Free Solo, but the difference with Free Solo was free soloing means you're like climbing something without gear. Like you're literally your hands and legs is what you're climbing with, and this
no parachute.
Yeah, nothing. So if you fall, it's over, to keep it PG. But Free Solo was recorded, so like once it came out, you knew that he successfully climbed. It was somewhere in California, right? The Yosemite.
Sacramento. Well, he's from Sacramento, I think. Right?
Yeah, so I was down with that. It was still intense, got me sweating. But this one on Saturday, it was live on Netflix, and it was a skyscraper in Tavai, a 101-story skyscraper, and it was live. So maybe it wasn't live. I don't know, conspiracy theories, but just like was what happened if the worst happened? It was Netflix just going to show that? Like,
I would think so.
So that led me not to tune in.
There's no delay. Is there a delay on those things? I don't know. Probably not. If it's live,
even like the gruesomeness of the thought about it, though, would be enough to make people, But yeah, I'm punting that. I did. On the topic of Netflix, though, I watched The Rip last night. It's a new movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Intense cartel police movie out in Miami. I would recommend it.
Heard good things. Yeah. So we'll add that to the list.
There's another recommendation for you in the middle of the BC Lions offseason.
All right. Love it. A lot of ground covered on this one. You're off to Radio Row, and you'll still be making your way back here in a couple of weeks. So I think I'll hold down the fort to perhaps talk Lions free agency, probably get a guest here to sit down with me. We'll hold down the fort. Don't you worry. Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, leave a review, and check out our other episodes. We've had a couple of good ones already this year. Great discussion with Paul Lapalisse about Team Canada and flag football and Olympic aspirations. And plenty of more of these to come between now and the end of 2026. First and Now is the official BC Lions podcast, and we'll talk to you in February. Time flies. Let's go.